Howdy, neighbors. Hope you're all doing just fine today. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. Will you be my nooner? God, I hope so. I could really use one right now. How's everybody doing? Greetings! Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner 150,000 subscribers celebration. And we're going to go over the news and do all the normal stuff. Talk to you, listen to my dogs bark in the background right when I start a nooner, but that's all right. We love the Nerdrotic dogs. How is everybody doing today? Well, it's been there's been no shortage of news, of Game of Thrones news, of all kind. I haven't even really gone over all the Star Wars stuff about it breaking a bunch of records, and then but we're tempering our expectations because it might not open to this, have the same opening as The Last Jedi or The Force Awakens, which I think it will. I don't think it'll hit $2 billion. I think it'll pass $1 billion, but we'll get to all that and whatever you guys want to talk about. Plus, our friend Doomcock did a video today on some Doctor Who rumors. We can talk about that. Kapla, everybody. And yeah, a woman who pretends to play a Klingon on one of the worst written television shows in history is calling out Game of Thrones because of their showrunners. Because I guess Warner Brothers already saw the prequel that they were going to get from Jane Goldsman, and well, I guess it wasn't good enough to pick up, so they decided to have one with maybe George R. R. Martin directly involved. And they can't screw this up because they already screwed up their main show. But we'll go over that as well. And that's from Bounding into Comics. And it wasn't just because they included my tweet, although that helped a lot. But let's see who's here. Let's see who's in La Casa. Griffin Turbo, U.S. Dutch Kitty, Chameleon Prime, Sporking News Podcast, Hiroshi Score, Christopher Anderson, Action Figure Expert. What's up, Action Figure Expert? We love action figure experts here. Donnie Pearson, Cindy C, Easy Does It, Lemac Ajax, Christopher Anderson, which I already said, but it's okay. Teppo Tupa, the Orville filming has stopped in the midst of talks about CBS buying the IP. They are installing new main cast and writers. That would be ridiculous. That would be ridiculous. Yeah. Ahoy from Denmark. Oberon, what's up? Hail, hail, hail. Greetings. Hello. Drew McTeague, thank you for the $10 super chat. I'll get to that in just a second. Hail Geeky Candy, who is in the house. Hail to all the wrenches. Welcome all. So today is a cause for celebration because I survived the great YouTube purge. There'll be another one in 3 months because I think they do them every 3 months, and they get rid of bots and all and such. But some of you out there might not be a subscriber. I would ask you to please consider subscribing to the channel. Independent creators are not the priority here at YouTube anymore, unfortunately, but we can change that if we get more traction for independent creators. So if you could support me or your favorite YouTuber by liking and sharing the video, making sure you're still subscribed, hitting that bell. I know it's a lot of work and I apologize. It used to be a lot easier just to simply subscribe to somebody and then see that you get the videos on your feed. But now it's a lot more work, and I thank you all for going through it, and I appreciate it. And I know all the other YouTubers here in the Fandom Minutes, they appreciate it as well. We appreciate all of your support. This has been a hell of a ride, no matter how long it lasts. I am loving every minute of this. I never expected this to happen. So a brief summary on where this channel came from, which was, it was a hobby. So you might not have heard, sit back. This is breaking news. I used to own a comic book store and for 10 years here in San Francisco, from 2003 to 2013. It was called the Comic Outpost. It was at 2381 Ocean Avenue. The phone number is 415-239-COMICS, COMX, although I hate comics being spelled with an X. But unfortunately, that's the title that's on the store now from the person who bought it. I sold my store on on December 15th of 2013. That was my last day as the store owner, and I was completely depressed. I was depressed over the set of circumstances, which led to me having to sell the store, which I would love to blame on SJW, Marvel, and DC, but no, it was my fault. It was all my fault. I had a successful store. I was making money. I was able to pay a mortgage here in San Francisco, pay my bills, have a lot of fun, do a lot of traveling, meet a lot of cool people. Tyrese Gibson came to my store. MC Hammer came to my store. Peter Jackson came to my store, and Philippa Boyens, which was brilliant. We had a lot of people. I met a lot of artists, met a lot of creators, became friends with Derek Robertson, had a great time. But as one of the most dangerous things to somebody who's in recovery, I'm speaking of myself, when I stopped going to meetings and I started thinking my farts smelled, like most people here in San Francisco, started loving the smell of my own farts, started thinking I could do no wrong, started thinking I was invincible. So I thought I could go out and start partying again. And while I was at the time a grateful recovering addict, I used to like the crystal meth. Back when it was called crank back in the 80s. It's different stuff now. Really liked booze, really liked the 420, and really liked shrooms and acid. But in the 80s, I really never took up cocaine. So I decided to take that up just to see what it was like. And guess what? It really sucks. It really sucks. So I snorted my way out of business. Had to. Luckily, somebody came in to buy it. Bought it at a discount rate, but I was just going to close it and keep all the stuff and open up later. But I had to get my life in order. So I sold the store and commenced to getting my life in order. It was a rocky beginning, but during this, I wanted to, despite all the crap going on in my life, I still needed my escapism. That's what helps us get through these troubled times, while still, trying to, have a better life and rebuild my life. So a friend, a former co-host who is no longer at the channel, and I decided, let's start a podcast. And there was another friend who was involved too, my friend John Reed. But I had done podcasts at the comic store. It was called We Have Issues. Unfortunately, I had it on, I think I planted the podcast on, I think it was podcast.com, which is no longer around. And all my episodes are gone, which sucks. Because I had a really good episode of a roundtable of comic people talking about the sale of Marvel the day it happened. But I digress. We did our first podcast on January 7th of 2014 at a Starbucks in West Portal. And from there, we did a monthly podcast, then it turned bi-monthly, then it turned weekly, then we started covering TV. But I originally wanted it to be a Game of Thrones channel. I wanted to mainly cover Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire lore and the show, but I could never get it together. And I was frankly intimidated by the other channels that were out there. So I just stuck to doing a podcast. It was very vanilla. Didn't want to take sides on anything, just report the news, which can work, but you have to have, it's all about personality and it's all about finding your voice. And it took me a long time to find my voice. So did that for 4 years with nobody listening. Had a website, nerdrotic.com. It's still there. And all the old podcasts are still there. Unlike Jeremy, I don't delete any. No, I'm just kidding, Jeremy. I'm just kidding. You deleted the video, Jeremy. Just kidding. So yeah, Snowflame, freaking Snowflame. I thought I was Snowflame for about 6 months. And guess what? I wasn't. I almost ended up like Snowflame, dead. So things happened. I worked a bunch of different jobs. The plan was to get the podcast going so I could have that around and use the comic shop as a platform for the podcast. So I never expected the podcast to go anywhere. It was just kind of something to do while I planned for the store. Then, The Last Jedi happened and the fandom menace started forming. Now, before that, let me backtrack a little bit. I saw a couple of videos that were very influential in this channel. One of them was by the World Class Bullshitters, and it was Marvel is literally begging people to buy their comics. There was a channel called Midnight's Edge that every time they drop something, that was one of the first entertainment channels I subscribed to. Was him, Midnight's Edge and Emergency Awesome. Got to say, Charlie was a little bit influential as well. And then a guy came along named Diversity in Comics, and he did a video on, I believe the title was Captain Marvel is Everything Wrong with Marvel Comics. Now, the reason I started dipping into these channels was I wanted to get the lay of the land of the comic industry, because after I sold the shop, I took a year off of comics. I didn't read anything. I needed a break. That's the first time I've done that since I was 5 or 6. I've read comics all my life, but I really wanted to become a fan again. And towards the end, I wasn't a fan. Unfortunately, if you work professionally in something you love, you will learn not to love it. Especially, I was such a Marvel guy, and 10 years after, dealing with Marvel, I couldn't stand them as a company. And I didn't think Disney would be any better when they purchased them. I just didn't. I knew Disney let some of their companies run autonomously, and I didn't think anything would change. So I started becoming more of a DC guy because they were much more respectful to comic shops. They had a guy named Bob Wayne who used to own a comic shop, who was kind of like their outside rep, and he talked to people, and he was really cool. And there was just a lot of good people at DC. They're willing to work with you, and they were just nice. Marvel was not. Marvel was aloof. It's not like they weren't nice. They just didn't want to deal with you, but whatever. So I saw your boy Zach's video. I still wish he'd change his name back to Diversity in Comics, but I understand. And I was kind of off to the races. So I pretty much watched everything CG in the early days. England Teen Doug Ernst, Just Some Guy, Captain Cummings, EVS when he rolled in. Watched all that stuff. And then, I was working at Tesla at the time, and I started seeing Jeremy. And right around that time, Doctor Who season 11 came around. Now, I was podcasting, I was covering Doctor Who, but when Jodie was announced, I didn't make a video. Biggest mistake of my life. I had the biggest, probably the worst nerd rage I've had since Gwen Stacy's death in Amazing Spider-Man 2, where I embarrassed my entire family by screaming in the theater and had to walk out in total embarrassment. Not a great moment of my life. But when that happened, I was sitting here with my son, and he just got up and said, "Well, I don't like Doctor Who anymore," and walked out. And this room used to be filled just all Doctor Who, and I took everything down. It was, I had quite a fit, quite a little nerd rage, but I didn't make a video, and I kept my mouth shut about it. So I decided to take a wait and see with the show, as much as I knew it was going to be filled with woke politics, because it's not just, it's one thing to just change a gender, but what comes with that is partisan politics. So I knew that was going to happen. We already saw it happening. It was pretty bad already, and I couldn't imagine it would get any worse. And it did. But I tried to give it a chance. I truly did. The first episode, I even admitted going, it was the first episode, which still is the best episode of Jodie Whittaker's era. It was okay. But you could see it was like, man, it was, if you watch Class, that spinoff, it was a lot like Class, was just awful. Then it got worse and worse. And by episode 4, Arachnids in the UK, when they had Mr. Big playing the Orange Man stand-in, who liked to shoot things because when you're in the UK, you always carry your gun and just randomly shoot things. And it was just an awful episode. They couldn't even have giant spiders as villains. They kept apologizing. They kept on saying the spiders don't normally act like this to appease PETA, because and this is why, and I'll get to my point with this. This is why entertainment is impossible nowadays, because you always have some political faction being victimized. So the only thing you can write basically is white man being bad or nothing or circumstances. You're going to have superheroes fighting, I don't know, weather or something. But even that, the environmentalists will go, well, weather. So Doctor Who got bad, and I just started speaking my mind about it. I said, screw it. I'm going to speak my mind about it. I don't care. And it connected with a lot of people. I think with Doctor Who, more than Star Trek, more than Star Wars, Doctor Who was affected the worst because your main character gender was swapped out, and then it was just filled with politics, and a show that truly was for everyone. And as I've said before, I had viewing parties at my store. The store would be packed with families, all makes of life, all shapes and sizes. It's San Francisco, and people loved it. Not anymore, though. Now it's just this hateful, boring thing. And covered every episode. It was tough. And this was, Star Trek Discovery was on. I was covering that, and I got traction from that as well. Funny thing was, I was covering Game of Thrones, and nobody was watching that. Had a little success with The Expanse, too. I covered The Expanse, and that's the one positive thing. It sucked, but my first video to really get a lot of traction was when they got canceled, which sucked. But then we did the whole Save the Expanse thing, and that was fun. That was probably the most fun I've had at this channel. A lot of the stuff is fun, but not that fun. Then, I did a Last Jedi review. It was me and my co-host, and he liked it. I did not. The only thing I can remember saying out of it, and I had a beardless face, was it was an abomination. And I kept saying that over and over again. And what they did to Luke was unforgivable. And I'm done with Star Wars. And it killed anything I had for Star Wars. And that has not changed to this day. I don't have feelings when it comes to Star Wars. It's not even hate. It's apathy. It is, I don't give a fuck. So when I saw The Mandalorian, and this confirmed it, when I watched the Mandalorian trailer, the trailer was good. But it didn't inspire any feeling in me whatsoever. It was like watching a good trailer for CSI to me. I'm like, okay, it looks quality. It looks quality. Not anything I'm going to ever be passionate about, but yeah, that's the way it is. So channel started getting traction, and I made some friends, got a lot of shout outs. Jeremy was instrumental. Jeff, Doomcock, Doomcock and I have been friends since we had just a few thousand subscribers, and it's been a lot of fun, being friends with Doomcock, and our channels are growing together. It's awesome, and I love every bit of success he has. He should have more subs than me. I don't know why he doesn't. I think it's a YouTube thing, and it might have something to do with his name. I don't think he should ever change his name. He should just, I think he has more adversity than I do, but that also, lends to his quality and what he does. So he'll eventually get there. He'll totally eventually get there and pass me up. And I will be happy as hell when it happens. Seeing Jeremy grow, Jeff, all the new people in the Fandom Menace. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of different voices here. Seeing, Mary and Geeky Candy succeed. Seeing RK Outpost is awesome, man. I knew that guy was going to do good. The minute I talked to him at our meetup, I'm like, this guy's got the thing. Whatever the thing is for YouTube, he's got the thing, and he is brilliant. There's so many. I know I'm missing people, but I mean, it's been a hell of a ride. So the one positive we can take out of all of this is we found each other. And the great thing about the Fandom Menace, unfortunately, with Comicsgate, due to circumstances that were beyond their control, because it was kind of, Comicsgate came off of, and I'm not an expert in this, but it came off the tail end of Gamergate. They don't have anything to do with each other, by the way. They're completely different things. But it was early on in this fight. So we got to give a lot of respect to the Comicsgate people who were in this fight early on when they were outnumbered 10,000 to 1. Quite frankly, it was easier to walk into the Fandom Menace because some of that battleground had already been, worked out, and some people had fallen, some people had fought through it. There was a lot of battle-scarred people here before the Fandom Menace even started, and we need to acknowledge that. and some of them fell out. Some of them got tired of it, and there's still some people in there fighting. But unfortunately, Comicsgate got defined by other people. I'm not saying it was fair. Life isn't fair. They trudged on, and like a man, you deal with it and you keep fighting on. Or a woman, same thing. And then the Fandom Menace came on, and it's been very tough for the other side to define the Fandom Menace because we haven't organized, because we remain this like nebulous thing, and because we're just larger. There's just more of us, which is good, and we grow every day. And we need to thank Game of Thrones for that, because Game of Thrones wasn't filled with politics, but we got a ton of people over here. I can't tell you how many emails I got of people who had no idea what was going on. And just came to some of our channels because we covered Game of Thrones. And it's been interesting. So we get to today, which is crazy. I had the scrub happen, and then I don't know what the hell happened last night, but I got them all back. I don't know if YouTube gave them back or somebody liked one of my videos. I don't know, but I'm not going to question it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you all. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to my co-hosts who helped start this channel, who unfortunately did not see my vision, but that's okay. It's hard to see somebody's vision when you're not in that person's head. But I don't hold any grudges. Shit happens, and we move on. But we have an article here. I want to get to some chats. Oh, there's RK Outpost right there. See, I knew I'd get a super chat out of you for that. No, I'm just kidding. Monetize it. Let's, oh my goodness gracious me. We're going to get a couple super chats in. I want to get to the chat too. We're going to go bounce and forth. So, I'm not ignoring you guys. And then we're going to get to the Bounding into Comics article where somebody who's pretending to be a Klingon thinks they can call out Warner Brothers and AT&T. I love watching this in real time, by the way, because I don't think this dipwad actress realizes that she's pissing off a lot of executives at one of the giant corporations in Hollywood, one of the last few giant corporations in Hollywood. I look forward to her never to work for DC or Warner Brothers ever. But go ahead. You do you, girl. L'Oreal from Star Trek Discovery. Klingon talks like this. Yes, I love you. She talks like she has cotton in her mouth. We'll just say cotton in her mouth. All right. Geeky Candy, first super chat of the day. Thank you, Geeky Candy. Please subscribe. Here, let's get to her channel real quick. Boop, doop, boom, boom. This is Geeky Candy, one of the newest members of the Fandom Menace, and straight up is already figuring it out. Her thumbnails are brilliant. There we go. This is Geeky Candy. Boom. Okay. Super Chat says, "Hail to our glorious bearded nerd herder." Oh, I'm a nerd herder. Come along, nerds. Hey, you nerds, stop helping that other nerd over the fence. Oh, that's bad. Thank you. Thank you, Geeky Candy, for $2. And hail to you. Hail to you. Drew McTeague for $10. What's your favorite Star Trek TNG episode? It is the two-parter. I like, came out, I actually read the novelization of this, and it's when, my reunification, I'm blanking on the name now. It is, with Spock. When they find him on, Romulus, and he's, been trying to, because it coincided with Undiscovered Country, and they were supposed to mirror each other. And I don't know if you remember or not, but a lot of people were predicting Kirk was going to die in Undiscovered Country. So I read the novelization of these episodes. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch them live because at the time I was occupied, we'll just say. And yeah, you'll find out about that on Saturday, by the way. I don't know. I'm praying for unification. Yeah. God damn it. So those are my favorite episodes. Those two are my favorite episodes. My favorite episode of the original series is the Tholian Web. And I don't know why, because it's the one with I love Kirk, but it doesn't have Kirk in it. And I think that's one of those episodes where William Shatner probably had a prior commitment somewhere. Sometimes they write episodes without your main star because they're busy. A lot of times in Doctor Who, if you notice there's some episodes without the Doctor, it's because they were filming a two-parter. But for some reason, that's my favorite episode because as a kid, it creeped me out like crazy. Yes. But Unification, that is, those are my favorite TNGs. Thank you, Drew McTeague, for $10. Loquacious Primate for $5. Hail, Gary, congrats on 150K. How do you feel about D&D leaving Star Wars? Isn't it nice knowing they pieced out early from Game of Thrones for nothing in the end? Yes. What happened was, if you watch my video, I think that provides, my video that just came out, that provides some context of what happened to Game of Thrones. It's everything we said. It's every single goddamn thing we said. You know, all those YouTubers out there who clap back on me and Mahler and Doomcock saying we were being mean to the creators, calling them hacks. No, they were hacks. They were know-nothing, learning on the job hacks who didn't understand storytelling, thought themes were for 8th graders, and let the actors define the characters. And thankfully, most of the actors paid attention and did a great job defining their characters. I have no problem with that. I have zero problem with any actor, set designer, costume designer, special effects coordinator, most of the director, even Miguel Sapochnik. I don't have a problem with him. He had a bad episode, whatever. It's not his fault. I don't think it was his fault. I think he was just grudging through it and helping out his bros. And hey, it worked out. He's going to now be running House of the Dragon, which, I mean, everything about that sounds great. I'm just not buying into it because I don't care. Because in this world, it ended in a stupid place. It just ended. Your main story sucked. So anything prior to your main story is just something. It's like a candy connected to a turd. You know, Disney Star Wars, you hear that? And it's going to delay the books. The only hope I had for A Song of Ice and Fire was the books. George R. R. Martin is now directly involved in this, which means we're not going to get the books. It's confirmed. It's done. They're not coming out. There might be a 10% chance we get Winds of Winter. There is a 0% chance we get Dream of Spring. 0. So if you're a book fan, you need to start coming to that realization. And I don't think he's going to let other people write it, so you can forget that one too. And if somebody else does, it's somebody else writing the book. They're not going to be able to do it. I already read somebody trying to attempt their best Douglas Adams, and it was awful. So no, nobody will be able to do George. So it's done. I mean, like you wasted your time. I wasted my time. I wasted a bunch of money, a bunch of time. So no, I don't feel guilty about monetizing my Game of Thrones videos. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of making up to do. And I can't get that time back. You know, money is one thing. You can get money back. Time, you can't. Time I spent reading the books, getting into the lore, listening to the books, getting into the story, and now I will never get an ending to that story. And I'm not supposed to say anything about it. I'm supposed to just shut up and be a little good consumer. Well, screw that. Screw that. There's a video coming out, and I promised this video like 3 years ago, and then I went back on it. It's me quitting George R. R. Martin. George, I'm quitting you. We done. We done. I'm not wasting my time anymore. I'm walking away from A Song of Ice and Fire. Don't give a shit about the lore. Don't give two craps about any of it anymore. Kind of like how I feel about the NFL. Kind of like how I feel about Star Wars. Without respect, we reject. In the sports ball, when Dick Spanos ripped my beloved team out of San Diego, the NFL was something I followed for 40 plus years. I was a season ticket holder for the Chargers for a decade. I inherited them from my father, who was a priority He actually had season tickets when they were originally in LA, moved with them back to San Diego in 1961, and was in the same seat the entire time. And I had that seat until I abandoned it. And I'm glad I did. And it sucked. It sucked watching a shitty team with the hardest luck in the world. And I don't want to hear about any other sports team. The Chargers had the hardest luck in the world. And I hope they never win any. I actually did. I learned how to put a curse on somebody, and I put a curse on the team. So hopefully it works. They'll never win anything in LA. So screw them. Screw football. I don't even care about it. I don't watch a second of it anymore. It's done. It's dead to me. Norwegian Kryptonian. Is it just me, or have the MCU not produced a single memorable soundtrack? Nope, it's not just you. They have not produced a single memorable soundtrack. They came close to having a decent one with Ragnarok. I'm blanking on his name, but the guy from Devo did that. But then he kind of mailed it in. I was expecting something way better. Yeah, I'm a big lover of soundtracks, and there is the Captain America theme is somewhat memorable, and the Avengers theme is somewhat memorable, but there's no like pieces of music that like give you goosebumps like John Williams or Jerry Goldsmith. Greatest recent soundtrack, Daft Punk's Tron Legacy. Freaking great. Yeah, like I've got, I just got, I'll show you to you later. I got the Howard Shore, vinyl, colored vinyl book. They're brilliant. The first one's hard to find, but they're like $80 and you get 6, they're records, and one's red, one's green, one's blue. They're so brilliant. They're so good. Howard Shore is the man. Mexican Iron Man for $4.99. Congratulations, Gary. Thank you for the tireless efforts. We appreciate and need you more than ever. Congrats on your recovery and making it through. Well, thank you very much, Mexican Iron Man. One day at a time. One day at a time, baby. Hiroshi Score for 50 Mexican dollars. All this Game of Thrones and D&D fallout is hilarious and justice for the fans, indeed. I'm waiting for Jar Jar reckoning. He has a lot to answer for. Have a great day, sir. Thank you very much. You too as well. It's coming. But he's okay. See, Dan and Dave are okay. JJ's okay. They just signed these huge deals. The streaming wars are going to help perpetuate some of this garbage that we're trying to fight in our favorite franchises. And I've got some real bad news for you on one front. And I'm sorry to say it. But, okay, for one, I want to preface this that there is a Doctor Who rumor that I have been sitting on for 3 months. I'm going to continue to sit on it because I need to get verification before I run with it. I need to make sure it's okay. And I need to get verification. It's not the one Doomcock talked about today. It's in the realm of that, but it's something pretty bad. Now, the person who emailed me that said it's a done deal. There will be a season 13 of Doctor Who, and it will be Jodie, and it will be Chris Chibnall. Done deal. And what helped that was the HBO Max signing Doctor Who. Now, I saw on Twitter today, I can't verify that somebody was saying that they're a go for 13, 14, and 15. I wouldn't be surprised because they just got a giant influx of cash from HBO. Question is, I wonder if HBO has influence on the show now. Because frankly, if they're going to be on HBO, I don't know. They still get a lot of people watching it in the UK. A lot more people watch it in the UK than watch it in the States. Right now, there's like 1 million people watching it in the States when it airs. So, but and we'll talk about the other Doctor Who rumor later. The big okay. Hiroshi Score, thank you again. The Big Red Bear for Canadian $5. The trash fire that is Warner Brothers is going to regret signing J.J. Abrams to ruin DC movies, especially after they just came off the movie of the year. And there has to be people rethinking that. There has to be some people going, ooh, we should really rethink starting a cinematic universe. I think DC would be smart to do a bunch of one-offs first. And you know what? You don't have to definitively say if it's in the same universe or not. We can just, You can do like little hints or whatever, but there has to be no connectivity in the beginning because they need to go back to basics and to get things right. And Joker just did that for him. The Joker was a gift. I don't think they ever thought they would make that much money. I never thought it would make that much money. Thank you, Big Red Bear. Joe Lau for 25, is that Hong Kong dollars? Hong Kong, HK? If you're in Hong Kong, be safe. All right. Be safe. The revolution of our time. Hail Gary, my favorite YouTuber. Congrats on 152,000. Is it 152 already? Wow. Damn. Looking forward to 200,000. Also, you want to hail Doomcock too. You both are the best. Blue waffle to Jer. Blue waffle. Do not Google that. We hail Doomcock. Always. That is a constant here. Congrats to my buddy. The Zardoz for $50. Whoa. Thank you, the Zardoz. I'm sorry you just got put in the Fox vault by Disney. Much like what they have done in the university system, SJWs are using the entertainment business to propagandize people. True. Free speech and being allowed to have unfettered exchange of ideas keeps a civilization unshackled and free. Keep up the good work. Exactly. Free speech, there is a group of people who want to make free speech a partisan issue. That's dangerous. And that's, you want to talk about wrong side of history. I mean, there is no, that's just the wrong side of history. I can't even get my head around why you would want to suppress free speech, unless you just want to be, a citizen with a number and a gray jumpsuit, walking to your preordained job by the government. Yeah, I don't really understand if that's, we're not a hive mind, unfortunately. And there's not a lot of self-expression in a state where the government is God and and we denounce the individual. Is individualism perfect? No. Are we going to get perfection? No. Progress, not perfection. Those are good. That's a good phrase from recovery that I try to enact in my life every day. We try to practice these principles in all of our affairs. I'm not perfect at it, but yeah. Ryan Cannell, RK Outpost, my boy, you're my boy, Blue, for $5. Humbled by the kind words, Gary. Thank you for the encouragement and the inspiration. You are welcome. Man, dude, you got it. I have no advice to give you. You are doing just fine. Let me put it this way. You grew a lot faster than I did. Like I said, it was 4 years. Jared W. for $19.99. I found your channel while searching for honest reviews about the dumpster fire that's HBO's Watchmen, and luckily I found you and so much more. Keep up the good work, dude. I'm a huge fan. Jared W., thank you. My apologies to everyone. My Watchmen review, screw it. Screw the algorithm. It'll be out tomorrow. It'll be late, but I got to make up for it. But I really want to get in the weeds on this one. But guess what? All that stuff Doomcock and I were missing, that we had people constantly tell us, it was on a website. You should have read it. Oh, really? Is that good storytelling? I have to read a website to get all the background information I'm looking for a TV show? Well, it's just like Westworld. No, it wasn't like Westworld. I watched Westworld. I felt like I got all the information I needed as the story was progressing. I got pretty much a lay of the land. Some stuff was left a mystery. There was a Delos website, but it was very, ambiguous and stuff. This one straight up just fills in blanks that the story should tell. I shouldn't have to read a comic. I shouldn't have to read a book. I shouldn't have to go to a website. I shouldn't have to watch a web prequel. No, that I should get all the information I need in a film. Now, if you want to do all those other things as fluff, that's great. That's fine. I like that when it's a good movie. But it shouldn't have necessary information like the origins of the Knights of Ren, or where Snoke came from, or where the Emperor's been, or who the hell Rey is. Yeah. I mean, we are 2 movies in. We don't know Rey's last name. We know she's capable. We know she doesn't like her handheld. She's really good at the Force. She has 2 facial expressions. She can run. And yeah, and we know her first name. That's it. Oh, and she can fly. Like Bear, nerd fun for $2. Gary, we are one big family, and you inspire me every day. You guys inspire me. You keep this thing going. I love live streaming. I'm sorry the Nerdrotic Nooners have been inconsistent, but I can't promise the time will be right. But they're going to be Monday and Wednesday from here on out. And of course, we have Friday Night Tights, which we probably got to get RK Outpost on again, which is turned into a great show. Only took me 2 years to get that going. Payola RL for $4.99, £4.99. Game of Thrones broke my heart. Wokeness and PC culture enrage me like I can't even tell. But your channel helps. Your work is remarkable, and I appreciate it so much. Paola, thank you so much. And I appreciate you. You've been around for a while now. And yes, hail to all of my friends in Europe. Hopefully, very soon, I can do a meetup up there. If you're interested. If you're not, that's cool. But your European meetup is happening within the next 6 months. Gunnar Renee Oy for 50 Norwegian crowns. Sounds like Russell Greer might want to take that Klingon lady to the Olive Garden. Ha! If he's given up on Taylor Swift, that is. Ha! Let's get to that, shall we? Shall we? Let's get to that. L'Oreal, who plays Laurel, or I'm Laurel, and I talk like this because I have 60 pounds of makeup on my face, and I forced myself on a human, and I'm the first Klingon to expose my breasts. Yes. So L'Oreal, she has a big jaw, this woman. Star Trek Discovery's Mary Shefo, calls to replace Game of Thrones creators with diversity hire checklist. Now, I made a tweet earlier that Nerdrotic calls to replace Star Trek Discovery repurposers with people of talent. So yes. So unfortunately, we have a need in Hollywood. Hollywood needs to be more inclusive of people of talent. POTs. Are you down with POTs? I'm down with POTs. I don't care what these POTs look like. The POTs can be POCs. The POTs can be POSs. I don't care as long as they have talent. But I am down with POT. Yeah, you know me. Mary Schiaffo, known for playing Chancellor Laurel, they can call me Mother, on STD, took to Twitter to ask her followers who should replace exiting Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss for Star Wars. Benioff and Weiss announced their decision to exit Star Wars, citing their schedule was full up following their recently inked Netflix deal in August, which is reportedly worth $250 million over the next few years. I've done a couple of videos on that, and that's why they felt comfortable to leave. Now, if some of you were at the last live stream, at the last Nooner, yes, I did call this 6 hours before it happened. I would love to say that I'm a genius, but it was just that obvious. It really was. I think most of you knew that as well. I just knew that they wouldn't be working on Star Wars, but I think what we're not bringing up here is that Q&A from 3 days ago. And we'll talk about that in a second. However, there is speculation that the two were fired by Disney, given Netflix is a direct competitor. So, one of the things that was on the cutting room floor of my video, after the Disney thing went down, it came down, I think, at 12:30, 12:20, midnight. I got 2 separate emails. These separate emails said, email number 1 said, Dan and Dave were allowed to quit. email number 2 said Dan and Dave were fired. And this is how we fire people publicly in Hollywood, because everybody gets to save face. Listen, this is how things are done now because of stockholders. They can't just, if they outright fire somebody like Kurt Sutter, they are really freaking mad, and they do it as an example. So Kurt Sutter, we discussed 2 weeks ago. He's an abrasive guy. He's a true creative. And of course, some snitches ran to HR and got him fired, kind of like what happened to Walter Mosley. This only happens, they will only state it publicly when they want to make an example of somebody, to keep people in line. Hollywood is going to crumble because of this. This is going to kill Hollywood. And honestly, at this point, let it happen. Just let it happen. So yes, I, in my little Nerdstradamus tweet there, Sheffo asked her fans which member of a diversity checklist they'd like to see take the reins following Benioff and Weiss' exit from Star Wars. Sheffo gives her fans 4 options, describing them as super freaking smart and badass. These options include A, women, B, person of color, C, member of LGBTQ community, and D, all of the above. Why don't you just say not white people? How many not white people can we hire? 331. Here, let's go to the main tweet. I can't find it. Oh, here it is right there. She got 71 retweets and 582 likes. I'm guessing not a lot of people know who she is. This is a big star and a big popular show, everybody. How come nobody knows? Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. But Star Trek Discovery is hugely popular. All right, so here we go. Sheffo's tweet was criticized by a number of people for being bigoted, racist, and sexist, which it was. Others pointed out Disney and Lucasfilm should look for more the most qualified person rather than superficial traits. So the Game of Thrones creators for House of Dragon again are Ryan Condell, who by all accounts is Colony, by all accounts is a good showrunner, but I don't know. George R. Martin and Miguel Sapochnik, because they did give Jane Goldsman, Naomi Watts. It was pretty much a female-led Game of Thrones show. Here's the problem. I'll go with this on camera, and I'll come back to this. So the SJWs want to come after Lord of the Rings. I've got a video coming out a little later on that. It started with the Gandalf stuff that came out a month ago. Somebody from Screen Rant plagiarized the original article and wrote another one and tried to run it off like it was his. And it was from some New Zealand site where they asked, God, I'm blanking on her name, from Lord of the Rings, the one who said, "Go, child." She was pontificating about having a female Gandalf. Hell no. For one, if you know anything about the show, it's taking place in the Second Age. Aragorn's not alive. The Astari isn't there. It's not going to have... It might have Astari, but they're going to be in a different form. I don't think so, though. Wizards. So they want to come after this. It's going to be very hard, though, because especially Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, dark fantasy is based on feudalistic times, medieval England, which was a lot of political skullduggery with the kings and queens and monarchs and all that, and a lot of dudes in armor brutally killing each other. They wanted to do a female-centric, so they wanted to go thousands of years in the past and do a female-centric Game of Thrones in basically just not quite barbaric times, but pretty close. I don't know how good the verisimilitude would have been for that show. And by all accounts, I heard it was a Downton Abbey in Westeros in the Bronze Age. And yeah, it sounds and that's why it didn't do well. And it was so female centric. And I did a video on this. They called it Blood Moon. And if you revert that phrase in A Song of Ice and Fire, there is no reference to Blood Moon in A Song of Ice and Fire, but there is Moon's Blood. Rosetta Allen. As a mixed race woman, this post is incredibly bigoted. Stop hiring just for gender or race. Hiring someone for their race or gender is bigoted. No effing duh. Rosetta, well said. Well said. And there we have our good friend, Queen Mecca the Merciless. It's sexist and racist to hire... Oh, look, there's John. Look. Holler at your boy. What's up, John F. Trent? It's sexist and racist to hire based on general and skin and color. It's not very inclusive and goes against the Star Trek values I grew up with, accepting all people. Well said, Mecca. Well said. Josiah! Look at this. How about the most qualified? Crazy idea, I know. There's great storytellers and shitty storytellers from every race, gender, and sexual orientation. Uh-oh, they're going to take you to task for saying orientation, Josiah. You're not allowed to say that. Colin Cochran. No, Mary, no. Hire people based on whether or not they are qualified. Don't base it on race, gender, and sexuality. That's actually racist and sexist. Hey, Mary Sheffo. Why don't you be the change you want to be? Why don't you step down so a person of color can play your role? Tell you what, why don't you ask Alex Kurtzman, Whitey McWhiteboy, to step down? I mean, that is the soyest Whitey white boy. He probably wears, I don't know, he probably doesn't wear Birkenstocks, but he probably, you know what? He probably shops for very expensive shoes on like, in, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an expensive place. Rodeo Drive. That's right. Yeah. Alex Kurtzman, why don't you call for more diversity with your showrunners? Because last time I checked, it's a couple of white people running it. Oh, it's about meritocracy when it comes to you guys. Okay, that's good. Then we want to keep it that way. Thank you. For fuck's sake. One person believes Sheffo... Oh, God, here we go. One person believes Sheffo's checklist didn't go far enough. They asked, I guess disabled don't matter. Oh, God damn it. This is... Okay, Hollywood's dead. Hollywood, you did this to yourselves. You let the wolf in the door. The thing is, Hollywood's what they're trying to do is monetize their apology. That's what they're doing. They're monetizing their apology to all the women that were disgraced, dishonored, abused. This came from a real place. Me Too Time's Up came from a real place. A lot of women were treated horribly by some horrible men. And guess what? There was a lot of horrible women who helped those horrible men. And there are still a lot of horrible people in Hollywood. It's a little feudalistic, not a feudalistic. It's like a bunch of mini dictatorships. That's kind of that's the culture there. It's all about who you know, what you know, who you do, who you know and who you do. That's what it's about. Yes, Willie, Half Nelson. You know what? I'm glad you said that, Willie Half Nelson, because Mary Sheffo stepped in the crap by making this statement. So sorry. I'm just seeing this. Of course, I should have put as one of the categories. I am actually aware of how ableist our storytelling is and agree that we need to make huge strides in disability representation in front and behind the camera. Thank you for pointing this out. Yeah, they had somebody in a wheelchair in a Star Trek Discovery. Although it's the 23rd century and, we can crush up somebody and make them into a human from a Klingon, but we can't fix a spine. We can resurrect somebody with poopy mushrooms, but you can't mend a spine. Okay. All right. I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure out your logic. You can have sonar in space, but you can't mend a spine. You can break the laws of physics, but you can't mend a spine. You can pinky swear in another dimension, but you can't mend a spine. Spock can sing, but you can't mend a spine. This isn't the first time a crew member of the show has spoken candidly about increasing diversity. Well, I mean, sure, Mecca remembers. I was there in the hall with her when they had all the doctors out from each Star Trek show, and they asked what made each show unique. And of course, little Ricky from My So-Called Life said, Star Trek Discovery is unique because of its diversity. Because of its diversity. Star Trek's literally, probably, I can't say this definitively because I haven't seen every TV show in history, but I'm guessing Star Trek is probably in the top 5 of most groundbreaking shows ever. No, your diversity isn't any different than what we've gotten before in all the films, everything before. You are not breaking new ground, you're treading on it. I wanted to direct Discovery. I met with their producing director. I didn't know how the show, I didn't know the show that well, but I met, they were talking, okay, sorry, I skipped something. Back in 2018, Robert Duncan McNeil, best known for playing Lieutenant Tom Paris on Star Trek Voyager, spoke on this very subject. I wanted to direct Discovery. I met with their producing director. I didn't know the show that well, but I met with him and on their last hiatus to talk to them about season 2. I also produce now. So I hire a lot of directors. That last few years, there's been a seismic shift in terms of the priorities towards female and diverse directors. The reality now has meant that what used to be normal, which was a lot of white guys, to be quite honest, has changed. Some shows are mostly women directing. I think Jessica Jones did that last year. Yeah. How well did that go over? Had all female directors. Handmaid's Tale. A young woman may direct the next Star Trek movie. Actually, she's not. That would have. You know what she directed? Tom Paris. She directed the Game of Thrones prequel. The one that got canceled. The one they spent millions of dollars on. He continued, most importantly, it's wonderful. These things happen. Sure it is. I'm proud of other shows I've produced. The Gifted, which was terrible. The Arrangement, Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. A Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. God, sorry I missed that show. I brought in female directors, but to answer your question, Discovery does a limited number of episodes, and the priority there is to get a female and diverse director, so there are fewer opportunities for people like me, which is a great thing. I'm going to repeat that statement. Discovery does a limited number of episodes, thankfully, and a priority there is to get female and diverse directors, basically non-white directors. So there are fewer opportunities for people like me, which is great because he already gets the opportunity, so he's fine. But yeah, if the opportunity arose to direct Discovery and I fit for what they needed and it fits my schedule, I'd love to do it. Plus, I mean, dude, you're not the biggest director in the world. Star Trek, since its inception by creator Gene Roddenberry, has always been forward-looking in the way it would cast its actors. Most fans know that during the TOS era, the creator purposefully put a black communications officer, Uhura, played by Nichelle Nichols, and a Russian navigator, Pavel Chekhov, played by Walter Koenig. However, this one-dimensional diversity drive we're seeing in Hollywood feels like what South Park has consistently mocked with their token black character, than what Gene did in the past with Star Trek. I want to hear from you. What do you think of Mary Sheffo? Well, I've already told you. So, yeah, it's, that chat is bugging. Look at that. We're going backwards, folks, and you need to look no further than the term person of color. If you would have said that 20 years ago, you probably would have got slapped by somebody. And now it's okay to say that. It's okay. It's just a way to group and divide, and label, so we can get everybody in their factions and in their camps. Don't play. The only way to win that one is to not play. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Don't care what you do in your life. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care who you love. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care about your gender. I don't care about any of it. If you're happy, cool. And you're not, telling me what to do or what to say, we're good forever. The minute you start telling me what to do, telling me what to say, telling me what I can watch, telling me how I could think, there's a direction you can go fuck off in. Yeah, and that's it. But politicizing things like free speech, bigotry is bigotry. You don't exclude a group from bigotry. Because you're non-white, it doesn't mean you can't be a bigot. As a matter of fact, if you look around the world, this wonderful, beautiful world that we live in, it's mostly great. Sometimes it's screwed up by some bad people, but the places I've seen, I've been to a lot of other countries. I've been to a lot of other places, and I've had one bad experience. I was in Barbados, and somebody tried to carjack our cab. At the time, I think Barbados is still in bad shape. Melissa was wearing a camouflage bikini. They told her she couldn't wear it. And no, they were just not trying to get her bikini off. We found out camouflage was illegal at the time in Barbados because there was some revolutionary shit going on. That's the only bad experience I've ever had. We had a good cab driver. He got a big fucking tip, believe me. But everywhere else I've been, people have been great. They're awesome. People are just people. They don't, it's the tops, the people on the top who try to stir this shit up, want to keep us divided. Hollywood is the best example of disgusting elitism that you can see out there. They're constantly telling us how to live, constantly telling us how, moralizing, while they, butt chug cocaine on a yacht, go to parties every night, get driven around in cars. That Ben Affleck video from TMZ that actually it depressed me. I get no schadenfreude out of that. I know what Ben's going through, and for it sucks. It sucks. He's fighting a tough fight, and I can't imagine what it's like in Hollywood, being an addict. If Ben, I'd said this to him before, unsolicited advice. From another recovering addict, Ben Affleck, quit Hollywood, dude. It's not worth your life. You got kids. You want to see your kids grow up. You got enough money. Quit Hollywood. Place is too dangerous for you. It's going to kill you. I saw that drunk video. Bounty in the Comics posted it. I kind of wish they wouldn't have, but I'm not going to tell them what to do. That was sad. That's Hollywood, though. That's the Ben Affleck who, calls a lot of people out. And the truth of the matter is, Ben Affleck was projecting. Ben Affleck has a lot going on in his personal life. And I'm trying to say this with compassion. And a lot of that calling people out, being uber political, being fully SJW, a lot of that's projection because he's got a lot of personal shit going on. And that's what's behind a lot of the spurging out on Twitter. There's a lot of personal shit going on. And people get a little quick dopamine hit, like Mary Sheffo here, and putting out, I'm sure she's disappointed with how few likes she got. So, yeah, she put this tweet out to get a bunch of "you slay queen, you go girl, yay." I mean, who puts this shit on Twitter? I don't know. Maybe people do. Here are my top 5 movies on Twitter. I'm not saying that's bad if you want to start a conversation, but what's this? What do you have to do with Game of Thrones? You shouldn't even be shedding any light on your show. Your show is trash, Mary. Your show is the worst kind of propaganda. Your show is superficial diversity inclusion. It's bullshit because it's run by a couple of white people for one. I don't care if one of them is female. Female's half the population. That's not diverse. It's a white woman. That's the same crap they tried to pull on us with Doctor Who. We're diverse. Look at all that diversity. That blonde, fake blonde white girl. And by the way, why does the Doctor have roots? Why does the Doctor have roots? Full of shit. That's what these people are. So yes, this is why people are going to YouTube. And quite frankly, it's better entertainment. I'd rather watch a Cecil live stream than any of these fools right now. If I had a Star Trek, a Doctor Who, a Star Wars lined up right in front of me current and a Cecil live stream, I'd watch Cecil. Cecil is love, by the way. Okay, let's get to some chat here. That was a bit of a rant. Hi, Peter Davison. Yeah, I got to respond to your emails. I did read them, though. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to skip to this one. My boy, John Talks. I need to get you on a live stream. I'm going to DM you on Twitter today. I personally think Disney allowed D&D to leave and keep the door open, but who knows? Congrats on 150K. Keep rocking, man. Thank you very much. I could totally, thank you for the $20, John. I could believe that. I had two separate people email me telling me essentially the same thing, but it's just two people emailing me. I do realize that. One of them I know works for around HBO, not directly in. But no, I think that's the way things are done, John. They don't try to throw anybody under the bus unless they want to teach somebody a lesson, like a Walter Mosley, like a Kurt Sutter. But no, Hollywood is very passive aggressive. They are not going to throw dirt on anybody to their face. And they're not going to try to make anybody look bad because they don't want them to turn around and make them look bad, which is the worst infraction in Hollywood, by the way. Okay, let's going to jump back up here. Dan and Dave, though, are not good. You don't want them writing Star Wars. You don't want them writing anything. Unless they're adapting George R. R. Martin material, you don't want them around. And believe me, Disney was like, whoo, dodged a bullet there. And Netflix is like, can we get that $250 million back, please? Dan and Dave are terrible. We saw the finished product. It is confirmed. Sir Ruin of House Roundhead for $5. What's up, P? Maybe HBO actually wants to make good TV again by canceling the Long Night prequel. Also, Dan and Dave kind of forgot about their Star Wars films. I guess they did. I guess they did. Thank you, Sir Ruin of House Roundhead for $5. Kelly Nicklin for £10. Not surprised at the lack of STD representation at the UK Star Trek convention last weekend. Very few STD outfits and actors. I'm glad you're telling. Thank you, Kelly. I was wondering about that. Just the way it should be. Chose to wear my Seth Trek t-shirt this year. Hell yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Kelly, and thanks for reporting in. And that's exactly what I saw at Star Trek Las Vegas, where all the hardcore Star Trek fans went, supposedly. If you're not interested in Game of Thrones, look at Wizards of Earthsea, the books particularly. Thank you, Peter Davison, and say hello to Mum for Australian $5. He's got the TARDIS back. He's got the TARDIS back on his avatar. That's good. Gunnar Rene Oy for 20 Norwegian crowns. Avengers in kazoo version is a cultural icon. That would be good. I need to get a kazoo, by the way. I play a mean kazoo. Peter Davison, Australian $5. Please, did you receive your presents as Mecca had her True Australian Ghost Stories book returned? What? I've got my box of stuff right here. I'll look in it. Ben Hermans for £50. I thought I got it, Peter Davison. Ben Hermans for £50 and no comment. Thank you, Ben. I greatly appreciate it. Cheers to you, Ben. John Thomas for $10. I'm with you on George R. R. Martin. I knew it was done when the show started and he said he let D&D take over. I knew right then the books were dead. I believe he killed off so many characters he didn't know how to end it. No, he doesn't. I like the last two books, but he clearly lost it and he doesn't want to finish it. Anybody who wants to finish something eventually gets around to it. I'm the last person to really get on somebody about passing up a deadline, but a decade. Come on, bro. It's a book and a lot of it was written. Yeah, folks, a lot of the Winds of Winter was already written. He cut out a bunch of chapters from A Dance with Dragons. Listen, how many sample chapters are out there already? 9? Something like 9. And there's more than that. But it's a Trap Productions for $5. I got to move the window. My camera's in the way. Hail, Gary. If you ever find George Lucas's original sequel outline, send them my way. I'll make them into an animated movie. Sent an email about this. And if anybody's out there and you have the original treatments, a copy of the original treatments, please send it to Gary@nerdrotic.com. I will keep you anonymous, as always. If you have any information. Now, with rumors, I run with, I don't judge anybody for running with them, and I'll run with them myself, but I only run with the rumor if I hear it from two people. A similar thing from two people, or I'm not going to run with it. Cause I have to keep you anonymous and I'm putting my ass on the line for one, you're not going to get any serious trouble for running with a rumor that's not true, but technically you could. Technically you can get in a lot of trouble, but the thing is the big franchises aren't going to sue everybody. But there's a very fuzzy line between opinion and besmirching somebody's reputation or a company's reputation. If a company really wanted to come after one of us and make an example, they could find something that we said wrong, and their army of lawyers that they have all the money in the world for could probably make an example out of one of us. Got to keep that in mind. But the thing is, they would make a martyr out of that person. That's probably why they don't do it. Sir Ruin of House Roundhead for $5. Would you consider rooting for the 49ers since you live in San Francisco? Well, I would, but they're not in San Francisco. They are, they're the San Jose Niners right now. They're closer to San Jose than they are San Francisco. I'm also wondering which of the Game of Thrones prequel will get more than a pilot and one season. House of the Dragon is going to be, they picked it up. So it's not just a pilot. It is greenlit as a series. It was a weird way they worded it though. They said the prequel was picked. Well, maybe, no, let me go back to that original tweet. I got to see how that was worded. Cause it was worded. It didn't say it's a series, did it? Or hang on. Let's get back there. What did it say? Okay. House of the Dragon. The series is co-created by George R. R. Martin and Ryan Condell. Miguel Sapochnik will partner with Condell as showrunner and will direct the pilot and additional episodes. Condell will be writing. Yeah, it's a series. House of the Dragon. Don't like the name. Don't like it. It's probably going to be... Here's the problem they're going to have. We've already kind of seen what Westeros is all about. They're gonna need to be more diverse. So are we gonna get more Easterlings? Are we gonna get more people from Dorne? The Summer Isles? Is there gonna be a lot more of that? There could be. Is it gonna be in Westeros? I don't know. I haven't read anything beyond this. My guess is either Aegon's Conquest, one of the Blackfire rebellions. Either of those would be great to see lead up to Robert's Rebellion. But then I'm going to be reminded of Game of Thrones season 8 every time I watch the show and go, oh, this leads up to something completely fucking pointless. I don't care. I don't care. If you're kind of a book fan and you want to work it out in your head canon that this series has nothing to do with Game of Thrones and it's more related to the book, I could see how you rationalize that. Sure, why not? I'm not going to judge it. If you want to watch it, I'll probably cover it for the channel. And maybe I'll become a fan. Maybe I'll be won over, but it's going to be tough because I quit George R. R. Martin. I'm not giving him any more money. Yeah, it sucks. My last purchase from George R. R. Martin was at Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con. That's it. No mas. Done. Done. Do it. Do it. Peter Davison for Australian $5. Sorry, not always able to keep up with you. It's okay, Peter. You don't have to apologize. You didn't have to send me a super chat to apologize. I'm sorry, Peter. I'm sorry. My bad. Love you, man. Again, give my best to your lovely mother. G'day in Australia. Loquacious Primate for $5. I'm emailing you the address of my fig tree. If you still wanted a hook to hook a primate up with a copy of Watchmen, as I yet have read it. Congrats again. Yes. Email me your address. Done. I actually have like multiple copies of it. I can part with one. Mark C. What's up, brother? $5. Check out the soundtrack for Iron Man 3. Brian Tyler composed it. It's my favorite MCU score. It's okay. I actually have all the MCU soundtracks, Mark C. I would say, yeah, I'll have to re-listen to it. I'm not sure what... I'll re-listen to it. I remember like they're all okay. I like Thor Ragnarok the best for soundtracks. This is soundtracks we're talking about. It's kind of how I feel about Danny Elfman. I hope I don't piss anybody off or lose any subs. Oingo Boingo is one of my favorite all-time bands, top 3. Danny Elfman is one of my favorite performers. I saw Oingo Boingo live 5 or 6 times back in the 80s. When they were like at their peak, the best live band I've ever seen, period, ever. Never reunited. I saw them on their farewell show. They were great. Danny Elfman soundtracks always feel like they're missing something. He has great, I'm not a musician, so I can't describe it. Maybe somebody else in the chat can help me. It's like he gets 3/4 of the way there and doesn't finish all of his songs, all of his pieces. The Batman theme is good. He has a lot of good themes, but you get into the depth of his soundtracks and he doesn't complete the piece. There's not a lot of feeling. There's a lot of movement. There's a lot going on, but there's nothing that Danny Elfman has done that, Big Fish, maybe, that really like tugs at your heart. But maybe I'm being a little hard on him because, John Williams. But no, you know who's great? Murray Gold. Murray Gold is gold. His soundtracks for Doctor Who season 1. I mean, it's a little rough because he didn't have a lot of money, but especially season 3 to season 6, those are beautiful soundtracks that I listen to all the time. Just as good as any film, better than any Marvel movie. Murray Gold. Season 3 is my favorite year, and I love the 11th Doctor's theme is awesome. I learned how to play that on bass. But I'll check it out for you, Mark C. Peter Davison, Australian $5. I meant I'm being run of my feet. Okay. Peter Davison, thank you for the Australian $5. Shane Wise for $3.99. The Orville is better Star Trek than Star Trek. That is a fact, Shane. That is a fact. Thank you for the $3.99. Mark Smith, what's up, my friend? $4.99. Congratulations on 150,000. You and Doomcock make an awesome team. Hail to you both. How did you two meet? Thank you, Mark. Again, I appreciate the kind words. We met on the YouTubes. We had it's sad and funny and sad. We had a mutual subscriber who used to be very vocal in our chat, but she did not like the direction our channels went. When we started speaking our mind, we lost Viking Bitch. So, and I wish Viking Bitch nothing but the best. I love her. I know she's had some health issues and I worry about her. But she's actually pretty cool. She's a fan of Venture Brothers, but she got us together. She got us talking. So that was it. Psycho Dwarf 9 for $5. Suppression of rights may be voted in, but must be forced out. Is that which suppression? I'm not surprised, Psycho Dwarf 9. I was just watching the Dave Cullen video of what the hell's going on in Ireland. I feel for you guys. Just know some of us out here wish we could do something to help you, but you're welcome here. Anybody from Ireland who wants to come to America, come on over. Come on. Kermit the Log for $2. Hail, Gary. I just got to 1,000 subs, and I'm from San Francisco. Well, that's awesome. I know that, by the way. And congrats on 1,000. I remember when I got the 1,000. It's a big deal. That's a huge accomplishment, Kermit. Well done. No 4 for 10 pounds. How do these people think TV shows and movies they make are honestly good? I don't really get it. Well, it's because they're surrounded, and that's a good question. Nova, it says Nova, sorry. It's because they surround themselves with sycophants. And John Talks, again, thank you for the $20. We will get you on a live stream soon. If you want to come on this Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific time, I'll leave a slot open for you. Let me know. Wayward Astronaut for $5. Literal monkeys on typewriters would be an upgrade to everyone who's worked on Disney Star Wars thus far. Congrats on 150K, Gary. Wayward, you are correct. You are correct. I don't know how they came up with the plots they did for the new trilogy from a story group. I can't believe multiple people is the worst. You know what's worse? My review's coming out in the next 24 hours. Terminator Dark Fate. Terminator Dark Fate had no less than 9 people working on the writing of that movie. 9 fucking people wrote that movie. There's probably, there's supposed to be a page of script for every minute. There is 25 minutes of dialogue, 30. I mean, there's a lot of action. It's a lot of busy, nonsensical action. Some of it looks okay. Some of it does not. It's not extraordinarily bad, but it's not extraordinary. But yeah, 9 people worked on that. So these story groups and writing shit by committee, it sucks. Peter Davison for Australian $10. One of the political party leaders in Australia I met said, "It's who you know, then what you know about them." Oh, that's good. That's good, Peter Davison. And true. Especially since most of the people we end up electing end up getting caught naked, giving their assistant a back rub. Who's this, which is one of our California representatives did. And she blamed the other party. It was the other party's fault for exposing her flaws. And that's a quote. Adults. So it's one of the most, disappointing thing about growing up was the day, and every adult has gone through it, the day you realize that adults are essentially just kids with more consequences and higher rent. That's it. Congress is high school. It just so happens that their decisions kill thousands of people, put thousands of people home, make them homeless, and cost a lot of people money while they're having the party of their lives up there on our dime. I don't care if you agree with the Orange Man or not. I always thought the swamp was a very good description. Peter Davison, Australian $10. Gary, read the Rabbi's Cat graphic novel. The rabbi said to the cat that the cat's rights started and stopped where other rights start and stops. I will read that. Sounds interesting. Thank you, Peter Davison, for Australian $10. Adam Wolfer for $2. Watching you is better than STD and Star Wars and Doctor and Doc. Thank you. Thank you, Adam. Honestly, I'd rather watch you if you start a channel. Samu Ray for $2. Need new word than snowflake. How about wokeflake? Done. Yeah, snowflake it's not, I don't know, it's so 2015. I'm really kind of hung up on my people of talent. I like that one. I was very proud of myself. Now, I probably didn't come up with it, but let me think I did. Let me roll with that. People of talent. POTs. Joseph Gonclave for Australian $5. Have you seen the rumor reported that Dragon Demands the Blood Moon was canceled because persons of color were retconned as children of the forest? Whoa, I didn't see that rumor. Well, a person of color. Okay, let me read that. You've seen the rumor reported that the Dragon Demands that Blood Moon was canceled because persons of color were retconned as children of the forest. There was they made the Children of the Forest a person of color in the regular series. I remember because if you go to IMDb, I'm forgetting her name now. The actress who played Leaf wasn't on the IMDb, so I added her that night. Myself, the only time I've ever added somebody to IMDb. She is Asian, so I'll have to watch the Dragon Demands video. He's good. He's good. I like the channel. Blood Moon was canceled because it was horrible. And here's what I really think. For them to cancel the female-led inclusive Game of Thrones, it had to be like a next level bad. And George probably agreed to be directly involved in House of the Dragon. HBO was probably going, and this is just my speculation, but I'm sure, listen, I don't care what they say publicly. HBO completely agrees with the fandom that's pissed. They made a lot of money, but they're not happy because they wanted to keep making money. You know, AT&T thought so much of HBO based on the Game of Thrones numbers that they named their streaming service HBO Max. But unless they're completely effing stupid, they realize that those high ratings, they don't have a single show that will ever hit that again. It's going to take 6 shows to hit that. 17 million viewers watched the first episode of season 8. 1.5 million people watched Watchmen, and they're trying to spin that as good. The ratings didn't go down that much, but they didn't go up either. Which is pretty normal for a second season of a new TV show. They got a very tepid response again. They got a 0.25 in the 1849 demo, which means no young people are watching Watchmen. And yeah, so they based everything on previous Game of Thrones ratings. And this spinoff, they think they're going to get the same response, and they're not. They're just flat out not going to get it. So the real reason they canceled it is I think George is directly involved in this show. And that's the only way they'll move forward. They actually decided to go the meritocracy route. They tried the other route. They got somebody, Jane Goldsman is qualified as hell. She did Kingsman. We all like that movie. They got S.J. Clarkson to direct it. They cast a white female blonde lead. Everything Hollywood likes right now, and it sucked. Just like Star Trek Discovery does. Smooth Jam California for Australian $2. Hey, Gary, you're my hero. Here's another 150K. Here's to another 150K. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Smooth Jam. Smooth Jam. I like your avatar. Nicholas Horton for £2. Congratulations on reaching 152K. Did I reach 152K? Hang on. I gotta go check. I didn't know I reached 152K. What time is it? 2:30. Okay. Yeah. I guess I did. Cool. Thanks. Wow. All right. Oh, it looks purple. It's supposed to be blue. I did that hastily. I'm going to work on that a little bit, my thumbnail. I usually don't put woke or SJW in titles for algorithmic reasons, but I mean, like, I thought it was proper at this point. I thought it was good timing. All right, real quick. John Thomas for $5. All of the garbage produced, and David Weber's series Horror Harrington can't get made. A lot of stuff can't get made. As Midnight's Edge has reported, all hail Tom, Andre, and Rob over there. Love you guys. I am a huge fan of Klingon, of Conan. Not as big as Andre, but I'm a fan of Conan. And we were going to get a good, Ryan Condell was going to do a Conan series by all accounts. Now I'm going off of what Midnight's Edge said, was going to be great. And they canceled it when they brought in, they Me Too'd one of their program director at Amazon, and they brought in a female who has since been jettisoned, by the way, but she made the decision to get rid of Conan because it represents too much toxic masculinity. We can't even get the art we want. So if we want something like Conan, somebody's going to have to go make it independently. And whoever's got the rights to it, I don't know who's got the film rights. Yeah, they might want to, you might start seeing films and maybe web series and TV shows going the crowdfunding route. It's got to, that's a lot of money though. This ain't a comic book. I know there's members of, or former members of the Fandom Menace who want us to do something similar to Comicsgate and start making our own stuff. No, you can't make a TV show. You can't make a movie. We're not going to start crowdfunding millions of dollars. I won't be any part of that at all, ever. No. If you want to go do something on your own, I encourage you to do it, but I don't want to we're getting into large crowdfunding of comics. Cool. $100,000, a shitload of money, $500,000, $1 million, shitload of money. That's awesome. But that's something you can produce a great comic on $1 million, on $500,000. And that could help that industry because it's small. We cannot affect TV and film. We need to change. We need to either change it or walk away. That's it. We need to get them to change or walk away. So we vote with our wallet, which means do not buy tickets to Rise of Skywalker. If you really want change, don't buy tickets. If you want to see it out of curiosity, then wait a couple weeks or go buy a ticket to Cats or do what you need to do. That's the only way it's going to change. I don't mean to tell you what to do, but that's the only way it's going to change. I am going to see it and I'm not paying. And it's perfectly legal. I found a way. Thank you very much, John Thomas. Harrat's 96, $2. Mary Sheffo has 12 actor credits. She's a nobody. Yeah. I do remember she's the one that Mecca and Rob, Mecca, if you're out there, sorry if I'm paraphrasing this, but they were talking to themselves, each other, and they said something about Star Trek Discovery sucked. I think somebody asked them about Star Trek Discovery, and they said, don't waste your time, it sucks, and Mary Sheffel was standing right behind Mecca. Now, Mecca, to her credit, felt bad. I wouldn't have. I'd have just gone, yeah, it's my opinion. It's what I think. Your show sucks. I'm sorry, your check still cashes, doesn't it? It does. But, again, I had an actor reach out to me while I was at the con, came up and talked to me like a man, said he didn't agree with what I had to say, but he heard me, he listened to me. And that was a good conversation. I wish we could have more of that, from our creatives in Hollywood. You don't have to like what I say, at all. But to go attack fans, if you want to attack an argument, I don't have a problem with that. But I usually think as a creator, all that talk of punching down, if you're making millions of dollars, if you're sitting in your mansion, pontificating on how us plebes should do, screw off. But if you want to have a real conversation about our argument and the content, I'm willing to listen to that. But we don't get that from certain people. The Fandom Menace is here because of Rianne Johnson, because of Kathleen Kennedy, because of Pablo Hidalgo. That's why it exists. They created it. Freddie Prinze Jr., Alfredo, or even Robert Jordan's epic Wheel of Time series. They'll probably ruin it, says John Thomas for $5. God, I hope not. You guys have been waiting for so long. There's a lot of big Robert Jordan fans out there. You deserve that book deserves as much respect as Lord of the Rings or any of them, anything else. I hope you get it. Joan of Arc 33 for $19.99. D&D should get a Truthfulness Award for shedding light on the new Hollywood trend of hiring amateurs as writers and directors to carry out major works in films and comics. The mediocrity is also apparent with Star Trek and Star Trek Discovery and Star Wars. That it is, and that's a part of this. Listen, folks, you can't get on anybody's ass for accepting a job. So if there is but in the back of their head, they're going to know they're a diversity hire, and they're going to question in the back of their head, did I get this job on my merit or did I get it because of my skin color? And that doesn't feel good. That doesn't feel good. You're not moving anything forward by doing that. You know how, okay, there are diverse writers of all makes, shapes, and sizes out there, but Hollywood would have to look for them. They'd have to work to look for them. And I think I made it pretty clear in my last video. The people who make decisions don't like to work. They don't want to be bothered with lore or canon or finding if you really want a female writer, go find one who knows her freaking Star Trek. They exist. They're out there. You just got to take a shot at somebody, and you probably have to get your ass out of Hollywood and go look around the country, look around the world for that person. And then they should still sit next to a bunch of people who know Star Trek, and you should still pick the best one. If she happens to be the best one, great. Awesome. But what they're doing is they're hiring from within the bubble of Hollywood. They're not doing any work, and we're getting a bunch of mediocrity. And you know why they're doing it? Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper. Respect for Manchester. Keep up the good work, bro. Thank you, Robin Eaton. I appreciate it for £1.99. Hail Manchester. Atreides 001 for $5. DVD, Critical Drinker, and Gary, Ultimate Stream. What news from the Villanueva's Dune? Heard a gender swap of Yao. I'm not great with the Dune lore. Is it Yao? Yueh. Could have been worse, I guess. Yeah. I mean, if that's how you feel, I think you should. I don't think you should be gender swapping characters. You should be creating new stories, and if you want them to have more women in it, go do it. I think Dune, you're not going to get an accurate representation of Dune. That's it. You're going to get modern 2019 Dune, and you're already starting from a bad place. I mean, I'm glad they're not adapting Lord of the Rings now. The TV show, obviously they're calling it Lord of the Rings, so it's going to have to be about the One Ring, and that's going to be later Second Age. So, but really, what do you think it's going to be? Peter Davison for Australian $10. Ha 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 ha. He just laughs. Thank you. Aeronaut for $10. Congrats on 152K. Have a little spreading around money. Thank you very much, Aeronaut, for the $10. Gunnar Renee Oy for 20 Norwegian crowns. What alien in 2019? Person of xenomorphism? A person of xenomorphism. I like that. A POX. Yes. Oh boy. Admin Grumpy Bear for $20. Here's an idea. Let's cancel all of the spinoffs and take a run at doing some original stories. New worlds, new characters, new stories. I'd be in first line to watch. Exactly. Watch The Expanse. It is one of those things. Cesario JPN for $5. Woo! Kotaku is getting spanked by their owners for being whiny brats. And GO Media lost a 9-figure advert deal with farmers. Praise Genova. Another thing happened. I won't pull up the article, but CBR recently, an editor quit Heavy Metal. And this editor wrote this freaking manifesto saying that she was bullied by the owners. You know what the owners were asking her to do? her job. They were asking her to do her job. And part of her job was getting content from creators and making sure the creators weren't stealing content from heavy metal. If you work for heavy metal and you write for them, they own the rights to those characters. If you sign them off, that's their shit. And they just wanted to make sure that some of the creatives weren't walking off with their shit. And this editor was basically saying, well, I will side with the creator always. Well, that's good. And yeah, except for when it costs you your job. It's a big, long manifesto. She might have a gripe. I wasn't there, but it really just read like, my bosses told me to do my job and I had to do extra and I wasn't paid. I felt bullied and it didn't feel safe because they asked me to work like for an extra hour. I was deeply harmed by this. Deeply harmed by overtime. How could they? We're doomed. We're fucking doomed. We're doomed. Fucking doomed and dumbed. We're dumbed and doomed. Best thing going for Star Wars is the Hallmark ornaments. It says 200 watt studio for $2. As long as you buy them secondhand on eBay, do not buy them directly from Disney. Ian Slater for $5. I posted on the Chiefs tweet also. I should have asked, or is it Chiefs, right? The Chiefs. I should have asked for a job. From what I see, there are no Puerto Ricans in disco. Diversity? Says Ian Slater for $5. Well, wait a minute. Isn't Little Ricky, is he Puerto Rican? I think Little Ricky is Puerto Rican, right? Maybe not. Maybe I'm a racist for assuming his Puerto Ricanness. I love Puerto Rico, by the way. I've been there multiple times. It is a fabulous place. I wish I was there right now. I've been there a lot because I've been on some cruises and a lot of cruises leave there. Never got sick on a cruise. Never did. All right, let's go to the chat. What's up, party people? I see Mikey Woods in there. What's up, buddy? Saturday. Modrotic meeting on Saturday. Modrotics. Saturday, I'm going to start a StreamYard stream. We're all going to talk. Or better yet, no, we're going to do a Hangouts. Hangouts are still around. And we could have more people on there. I want all mods in attendance. I'll start a message on a DM group message on Twitter. Dumbed and doomed. Yes, dumbed and doomed. Computer guys work overtime all the time with no extra pay. Part of the $100,000 job. Yeah, Jim Whitehead. She was an editor for heavy metal. So unwritten rule of being an editor for a major magazine, especially when print is dying. You're lucky you have that fucking job. That is a job that's a cool job. I edit heavy metal. But you know what comes with that job? It comes with that status that, you love to put that on your Twitter that I'm the editor of heavy metal. Work. That's what comes with that job. And most entertainment jobs require you to work a little extra. They take full advantage of their status. I know that. I understand that. That's part of the game. Guess what? As a boss, I ask my employees to work a little extra too. I did pay them. But all the time I'd ask them to work because that's why I'm paying them. I like to hire people I like, but I like them to work. It's a very important thing to do. You would be surprised how many people love the idea of working in a comic shop, but once they started there, they hated it. A lot of alphabetizing, a lot of moving books, constantly bagging and boarding comics. Stuff I love to do. I mean, it's fun for me, but some people it's not. I just sent you a message. I just sent you an image I made of Sith Kathleen for you. Enjoy. Oberon, did you send it on? Where'd you send it? Tell me where you sent it, and I'll look at it. I'd rather be dumbed than doomed, because at least if I'm dumbed, I'm happy about it, says Wolfgang Winter. Exactly. Good point. Invite Young Ripa on the live stream. I can't invite anybody on these stupid streams because stupid YouTube got rid of Hangouts. I'm streaming directly. Is Young Ripa here? Young Ripa, if you want to come on next Friday, I'd love to have you on, man. For sure. I'm about to wrap this one up. But Young Ripa is always welcome here. He's one of the best YouTubers out there. Love that guy. Oh, he's Cuban. Okay, little Ricky's Cuban. You're right. My bad. Michael S. Why? Poor Mecca. Anytime somebody's talking about Mecca, we're not accusing you of anything. It was actually praising her. Gary equals good boss. Not everybody would agree with that, but that's okay. Thank you. It finally hit heavy metal. Yeah. Here, I'll try to find the article real quick before we go. It's everything you think. I was going to send it to your boy, Zach. I don't know if Zach I doubt he's watching my live streams, but I know he watched a couple of my video. Zach, search CBR heavy metal editor quits. Yeah, I could see the Zach video. SJW quits job or quits because boss asks her to do her job. Or SJW triggered needs safe space because she was asked to do her job. I mean, there's something more to it than that. They were asking her to work extra and she'd already been working a bunch of extra time for no pay. But yeah, that's part of the fucking job. But this is Heavy Metal Magazine. Okay. Here it is. Oh yeah. The headline's even better. It was a bullying campaign. Whoops. Sorry, wrong one. Heavy Metal editor resigns due to alleged bullying campaign. Heavy Metal Magazine senior editor Hannah Means Shannon announced she has given her notice and plans to resign. Listen, I love this. This is how, when you hire one of these people, they can spurg out, plan to resign, and leave when they want to. And I bet you she doesn't leave. I bet you they kiss her ass. Yeah. So here's her manifesto. Oh, it's much longer than that, by the way. Anyway, hang on. That's why you don't hire these people. I don't care if they actually did something wrong. What the fuck is this? By all accounts, and I have a bunch of mutual friends with this person on Facebook. By all accounts, this is an adult. Somebody who's over the age of 30. And listen, walking away from a job, losing a job can be a very upsetting thing, especially when you have to pay rent with 5 other roommates in a city you can't afford to live in, and probably should go to one of the outskirts city where you could probably live pretty comfortably. But you need to live in that city and have that zip code on your address because status. It's all about fucking status to these people who claim to not be about that at all. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, I had a very bad experience with a person at Tesla, caused me to quit. I don't blame Elon Musk or Tesla. I just said, you know what? This person's going to win this battle eventually because they're a boss and I'm not. And you know what? Fuck this. I'm out of here. Life's too short to put up with dicks. But this shit, I mean, I didn't go and write a spurgy little letter about the guy in the ponytail who pissed me off. He made me feel unsafe. Yeah, we're fucked. We're completely fucked. So there's the article. I don't want to read it. It'll piss me off. All right. So let's get to the last few super chats here. Then I got to go to the bank. It's a big day. I got to go to the bank and Home Depot. Crate and Barrel if there's time. Smooth Jam California for £5. What did STD do to ruin Spock? I haven't seen any of it, but I must admit it's impressive how they made Zachary Quinto look younger than he did in Star Trek 09. Star Trek Discovery, how did they ruin Spock? The same way they ruined Luke Skywalker. So Spock has never mentioned, I'll try to keep this brief. Spock has never mentioned his stepsister, Michael Burnham. He's never mentioned her. But after Star Trek Discovery Season 2, she was integral in his life. She was the inspiration for him to become more Vulcan. And I'm not shitting you. She is the reason he doesn't smile or tear up. Or no, number one's the reason he doesn't smile as much while he's on duty. The reason he reached out for Kirk is because of Michael Burnham. She completed him as a Vulcan and as a human. She taught him empathy. He didn't learn it from his mom, and his dad was a dick. His mom, yeah, so that's what defined Spock, was Michael Burnham. He didn't mention her, but she defines him as a person. Praise Pete's, by the way. Don't watch it. Frank Palmieri for $4.99. How bad do you think AT&T will mess up DC Comics if they sell them off? Oh, shit, I was supposed to talk about that. We'll talk about that Friday with the roundtable. Hopefully they do it as one universe and don't divide the characters. Destiny Cat, I'll mention that in a second. Destiny Captain $4.99. Gary, congrats on 150. Get some coffee. I'm going to get some more when I go to the bank. Yes. Kawaii Nancy for $2. Thank you for the donation. I greatly appreciate it. Nice to see you. King Accurus for $5. Dear Gary, every time you asked me to do my job, I resented you a little more. Sincerely, your former employee. LOL. Which one? Which one are you? I'm trying to look. I can't. King Accurus. Well, I know. I don't want to say your name. I don't want to dox you, but name that starts with a J, I know is in here sometimes. And she is a her. Last time I checked. I know it's 2019, but no. So, well, I'm sorry I asked you to use do your job. And I hope you keep resenting me. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks for $5 and whatever ex-employee you are, because there was a few. I'm sure you were my favorite employee, for sure. Nina Fabiano for $5. Congrats again, and here's to the next 150K. Well, thank you, Nina. I bow to you. Captain, Destiny Captain, thank you very much. All right, real quick. AT&T is talking about farming out DC Comics. What's essentially going to happen, I believe, is, yeah, they're just going to farm out. They're not going to have their own comics department anymore, company. They're going to keep making them. They're just going to contract them out, contract the properties out. They are going to do it separately. They can make the most money that way. It's going to completely fuck everything up. The comic industry, the retailing industry, as we know it, is about to die for real. Like, it's real. It's really happening. If I owned a comic shop right now, I would be deeply concerned. And I would be looking for another job. I'd already plan B. I would definitely be into plan B. Now, my plan B would be lessening my reliance on new releases. I would become like, and this is, I hate to call this out, but comic shops were very easy. All you had to do was start a Diamond account and open your doors. You didn't really need to have that much inventory because that's what a lot of stores are. They're just news stores. They're just bookstores. That's not a real comic store, in my opinion. Comics Experience, the guy who bought my store, he's a bookstore. He's not really a comic store. He's more like an old school newsstand. He's got some back issues, but he doesn't sell toys. He doesn't sell any of that stuff. I was a comic store. I had back issues. I had toys. I had video games. I had couches where people could sit down. Apparently they took those away at my new store. And that's the big, by the way, Brian, if you're listening out there, biggest complaint I get from all of the people who right after they tell me they wish I was still there, they say they were pissed that you took away the couches. You might want to put them back and maybe more people will come in. Because I tell you what, Brian, when I had those couches there, people sat there for 4 or 5 hours and they kept buying stuff. And that wasn't even my intention. I actually liked having them there. I liked having company in there. I don't like being alone in my own store. I liked having people to talk to. Customers don't annoy me. When they ask me questions while I'm working, I answered them. I don't write big, long, diatribes on Facebook about how much I hate a customer who asked me a question while I was working. Yeah, sucks. I know those customers are lame, huh? Yeah, I had a lot of flaws. Customer service was not one of them. All right, so we'll end it there. DC Comics about to fuck up, but they're fine. They're fine. I mean, the comic. If you own a comic shop, back issues, gaming, start doing events, have stand-up comedy in your shop. Get into find somebody who knows Magic, find somebody who knows D&D, get some board gaming going on there. Invest into a collection of back issues. Do not buy any more trade paperbacks from fucking Diamond. Just start a buyback program where you will give, for like a long box of trades, you'll give somebody $20 or something like that. Basically $1 a trade. I wouldn't even do that much. I would do like 50 cents a trade. And I was near a school and people would just give me boxes of trades. People would give me shit. You don't need to buy trades anymore. They're useless. They're worthless. They're burned out. And maybe you'll survive. So be a hobby collectible comic store. Yeah, diversify the shit out of yourself. Sell coffee. Do what you need to do. I want to sell vinyl, comics, toys, and used books. Used trades, not books. And I would have events in the store. Yeah, I would do a lot of shit. I'd make it a fun place to be. And I'd make it a place where people can hang out and chill. People still want to do that. So, and listen, not a lot of people want to do a store like that. So if you did one, you would be unique. And you either buy your building or find something low rent. You wouldn't have to pay that Diamond bill every week. So you'd just be paying your power bills, your rent, and yourself. That's it. All right. I'm going to wrap this puppy up. I hope everybody had a good time. I had a great time. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to everybody who helped get me to 150,000 subs. We had almost 2,000 people watching for most of the time. So thank you very much. And I will see you on Friday for Friday Night Tights, 5 p.m. Pacific time. We will have guests. Confirmed as author Stephen Walton from the Fandom Menace. He will be joining us. Hopefully RK can join us. Maybe we can get John Talks or somebody else or Young Ripa. That would be great. Young Ripa. We'll get some people. Of course, we'll have Comics Division and Odin there. And I will see you Friday. So y'all be good to each other. And remember, I got to see, I'm going to get this right. I got to learn how to do scenes on OBS because I'm just doing this by hand now. Where'd it go? Where's the media source? It's not there. So, yeah, we'll just say not all who wander are lost. Ciao. be good to each other. Don't forget to hit that like button. Ciao. Y'all be good to each other. Don't forget to hit that like button. Ciao.